Hey Hackintosh enthusiasts, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's been a bit of a headache for many. Building Hackintosh on Intel 500 series motherboards, specifically when you're relying on that integrated GPU. Is it a dream or a nightmare? Let's find out. The 500 series chipsets like B560 and Z590 are designed for Intel's 10th and 11th gen CPUs, while 10th gen Comet Lake brought UHD 630 iGPUs. 11th gen Rocket Lake introduced the newer XeLP graphics, like the UHD 730, 750. On paper, it seems they should work for Hackintosh, right? Well, not exactly out of the box. The biggest hurdle for 500 series motherboards and their integrated GPUs is that macOS simply doesn't support them natively. This isn't just about a missing driver, it's deeper. Intel's 11th gen CPUs, especially with their XeLP architecture, have significant firmware table changes that completely break macOS compatibility. You'll likely face issues like black screen after burst boot, no video output at all, lack of hardware acceleration, meaning a super sluggish experience. Even 10th gen Comet Lake iGPUs, UHD 630 that work on 400 series motherboards often struggle with 500 series. Why? It's largely due to these chipset level changes that prevent proper firmware mapping and communication with macOS. So is it a complete dead end? Not entirely, but it requires some specific and often experimental workarounds. EDID injection is one of the most promising solutions for getting some iGPUs video output, properly for Comet Lake iGPUs on 500 series motherboards. EDID, or Extended Display Identification Data, tells your computer about your monitor's capabilities by injecting your monitor's EDID directly into your config.plist. Under device properties, you can sometimes trick macOS into displaying video. You'll need to grab your monitor's raw EDID data, clean it up, and then add it as prem buffer conxl data property. This can help your initial display output. By the way, there is a video on my channel how to inject custom EDID for 500 series motherboards for Intel iGPUs. The link will be given in the description. Sometimes the IGPU might be recognized with minimal VRAM like 8 MB. You'll need to patch your firmware to allocate more VRAM. While people often try to spoof 11th gen iGPUs to appear as 10th gen, the underlying architectural differences XeLP versus UHD 630 makes full acceleration extremely difficult, if not possible, without a lot of custom patching. That's often beyond the scope of a typical Hackintosh build. Many have tried and failed. For 11th gen iGPUs, a dedicated GPU is almost always recommended for full graphics acceleration. Experimenting with different platform IDs and device IDs is crucial. Even with the EDID injection is a trial and error process. Beyond the open core configuration, your motherboard BIOS settings are absolutely vital. For 500 series motherboards, ensure the settings are configured correctly. CFG lock disabled. If you can't find this option, you might need to enable Apple XCPM CFG lock in your open core config. BTD disabled. AVA 4G decoding enabled. If this enables resize bus buffer, ensure that it's disabled. iGPU multi-monitor disabled, unless you typically plan to use a DGPU alongside the iGPU for compute tasks, which is more advanced. SATA mode AHCI, secure boot disabled, fast boot disabled, XHCI handoff enabled, CSM compatibility support module disabled. Getting these BIOS settings right is often the difference between a bootable system and frustrating black screen. Let's be frank, Hackintosh on 500 series motherboards with only Intel iGPU is a significant challenge. There are no real Macs that use these specific iGPUs in the way they're implemented on 500 series boards. This means no native drivers from Apple. While the Hackintosh community is amazing, the focus for newer Intel generations have shifted towards using compatible dedicated AMD GPUs or simply avoiding these iGPUs for graphics acceleration. If you get it working, macOS updates can easily break your iGPU functionality, requiring more patching and troubleshooting. For truly stable graphics performance and full hardware acceleration on 500 series motherboards, the general consensus in the Hackintosh community is to use a compatible dedicated AMD GPU. GPUs from the AMD Radeon or X 500, 5000, and 6000 series are generally well supported out of the box or within minimal patching. This bypasses all the complex iGPU issues. So to summarize, Hackintosh on 500 series motherboards with an Intel iGPU is possible for certain configurations, especially with older Comet Lake iGPUs and dedicated EDID injection. However, it's a difficult path fraught with challenges, and full hardware acceleration is rarely achieved, particularly with 11th gen Rocket Lake iGPUs. If you're embarking on this journey, Be prepared for extensive troubleshooting, deep dive into config.playlist and BIOS settings, and a lot of patience. For a more reliable and less frustrating experience, consider upgrading your 500 series board with a compatible dedicated AMD graphics card. What I've experienced with 500 series Hackintoshes, have you managed to get your iGPU fully working? Share your tips and tricks in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more Hackintosh content. Thanks for watching and happy hacking.